oh, he just happened to sleep with somebody else. Like, it was just an accident. How you just slip and fall? Like, what? Where's the fun? Where's the romance? Talk to your parents about this stuff. Like, oh my goodness. At that point, that's just the blind leading the blind. Like, we both don't know. Like, I'm like, oh, girl, if you say so, I guess that's what we gonna do. I don't know. You had your own life experiences with love on top of that. Girl, now you see why I'm not into, I'd rather be alone. This is too much. This is overstimulating on a whole other level. This is a lot. What? Like, I would not expect that. I'm like, yeah, girl, because someone sucked the physical touch right out of me with lots of trauma. Hi guys, recently I have been saying that I want to talk to you guys because I just feel like there's so many things, like so many opinions and like intrusive thoughts and discoveries, and like I've just been realizing things, you know, as I get older, and I just want to talk to you guys about them. I don't know how I'm going to structure these, if I'm going to structure these, or if I'm just going to do what I did today, turn on my camera and just start talking. I think I've just been craving like a chill conversation with you guys, and I think this is going to be really, really fun. I hope y'all have fun. And a big reason why I feel like I want to put my thoughts within a video and talk to you guys is because I think I've grown to realize that I'm just not, like, I just can't sit and write down my thoughts in a journal. I don't know if it's because, like, I have this fear that, like, someone's going to read it and, like, have, like, this raw paper of, like, all of my intrusive thoughts. I just feel like I have this fear of writing down my thoughts and then someone reading them, because it just feels so, I don't know, it just feels like such a private thing. And I actually enjoy talking to myself in my head. Ever since I was a kid, like, I didn't really have friends and I was never close to people. Even if I was around people all the time, I feel like I just lived in my imagination and I just liked talking to myself in my head. So yes, to this day, sometimes I talk to myself out loud. I don't know if people will think that's weird, but yeah, I will literally have a full conversation with myself. Obviously no one responds, but I respond in my head. I think it's also fun to get other people's opinions. That's another thing that I feel like we've kind of lost the idea of, like, it's okay to agree to disagree. It's okay to hear other people's opinion and be like, you know what? That's you and this is me, and that's okay. We can still coexist. We can still be friends. We can still move on with our lives the way it was before we had this conversation. I'm talking about, like, simple things. Like, I don't want to be with someone, whether if it's a friendship, relationship, anything, I don't want to be around someone who's just like a yes person, who just keeps agreeing with everything I'm saying. Like, that's so not fun. I don't want this to feel like a podcast sort of vibe. I'm literally just gonna talk my head off. And me and my brother and my dad have been doing this since I was a little girl. No joke. It's basically called Ghar Sabaa. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but you basically just, like, you just sit and you don't have to talk about God or religion or anything. You can talk about anything and it could be considered Ghar Sabaa. Like, you just sit and talk. It could be about how your day was, things you've been thinking about recently, something you saw, something you heard, anything. And it just creates this organic conversation between you and your children. So my dad always did this with me and my brother growing up, and to this day we have continued to do it, and it just feels like this safe space, right, where you can just say whatever you want and it stays at the table. You create this comfort and this, like, homey vibe with your kids where they feel comfortable to talk to you and tell you things that they've learned, whether if it's something serious or something. Like, I found out Timmy's favorite color was blue, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't have a favorite color. Let's talk about that, you know? So it doesn't have to be anything serious, but I just enjoy talking like this, and I've been doing this since I was a little girl. I just think it's really fun. So as of this April, I have been single for 3 years. Now, I know there are people out there who have also never been in a relationship. Maybe they've been single for longer than me. However, for me, in my life, this is the longest I've ever been single, which is 3 years. And I actually never thought I would be in this position, especially at this age. Like, this was the age, by the way, I'm 23. This was the age where I thought, like, I was gonna be, like, planning to, like, get engaged soon, or I was gonna plan this life with someone soon, like, because I was with someone. And that's just not how life worked out for me. And I'm so grateful and thankful, because can you imagine getting engaged at 23 or 24? Like, now I think about it and I'm like, that was crazy for me to think about. Even with all the lessons I've learned and, like, the person I am now, not even the person I was then, right? But the person I am now, I can't imagine. Even if Prince Charming came along, there's just so much more life I want to live and things I want to do and things I want to discover before I ever think about settling down, right, with someone else. Like, that's crazy to me. I don't know where my mind was at the time. I actually do know why, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I did think that I was going to be engaged by this time. And I don't want it to seem like I was raised with these values to get engaged early or get married early. I was not. The reason why I thought like that is because I was with my partner at the time for 7 years. I spent 7 years of my life with this person, on and off. I feel like I always have to mention that. On and off, and very, very toxic. But I was with that person for 7 years. So of course, naturally, you're like, what do I have to wait for? It would just be more fun to live life with this person. So it wasn't just like I met someone that same month and was like, I want to get engaged. I fully made that decision on my own because I was so engrossed, like, in this relationship. Like, I was so into it and it was so toxic that I really thought like this was my end all be all, which obviously that is not how life worked out because, like I said, I have been single for 3 years. The past 3 years have truly been the most eye-opening years of my entire life. I feel like I have learned so much about myself. Like, I was so lost. I didn't know anything about myself, and I've talked about this before. If someone asked me my favorite color, I didn't know. If someone asked me, what's your favorite movie? I didn't know. If someone asked me anything about myself, like my identity, I did not know. And now I think about that, I'm like, that was so sad. And no matter how much someone hurt me, that wasn't anybody else's fault but mine. I let myself get lost in this person and in this relationship and in this reality of what I was supposed to view for my life. And I put that on myself as well, which is why I always say you only get treated the way you allow people to treat you. I allowed someone to treat me that way. Someone already showed me their true identity. They already showed me who they were as a person. They already showed me how they viewed me in their life. I stayed, and that was my mistake. I kept going back, and that was my mistake. And I can accept that, you know, that was all me. No one told me to keep going back. No one told me, like, you have to stay here. But I kept going back. But yeah, that's why I say I don't blame that person for that specific thing. Now, other things I do blame. However, staying was definitely my fault. And of course, every time I tell this story to someone, which is very few and far between, but when I do, they're always like, oh my God, but you were so young. Arusha, you were 20. You were going on 21 when you were going through this breakup. My 21st birthday was so miserable for me because I was just crying. I was crying so much. And you don't just throw away 7 years with someone. I stayed in that relationship for an extra year. That last year was purely just me trying to make it work. You don't just throw it away overnight, you know, especially when you love someone so deeply. I tried so much and it didn't work, and I realized there's only so much that you can do. If the person doesn't want to meet you halfway, there's nothing you can do. You know, you can't make someone want to try for something that you want so bad if they don't want it that bad. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say the past 3 years have been so eye-opening for me, like, I don't want this to be misinterpreted. This was 1000%. This is my choice to be single. This is not, oh, like, she ain't finding nobody, or like, y'all, we all know how men are. If you really wanted a man, you could get a man like the next day. This is not like, this is very easy to do. However, I know the type of person I am in a relationship, at least who I was 3 years ago. Now, of course, the person I would be in a relationship now is very different because I've learned and grown and been through a lot. But the person I was in that relationship, like, the last memory I have of myself in a relationship was not good because I lose myself in a man. I lose myself in a relationship. I would find myself adapting to the man. You know how people say, like, oh, girls will be in a relationship and then they'll change their style to match their boyfriend, or they'll change their lingo to match their boyfriend, or whatever it is, right? That was me. And now I look back at it and I'm like, of course I did that. I didn't even know what my own identity was. So it wasn't like I was losing my identity because I didn't even know my identity. I was just replacing one man's identity with another man's identity. Like, I was just like his shadow. I was just adapting to him and fitting into this aesthetic of what he was and what he wanted in his life. And I think for a man, that definitely feeds his ego to know that this girl is like so into him. But for me, it was very, very damaging. It wasn't just like I forgot small little things. Like, I was so into this person and into their life that I didn't even know my own goals, you guys. Like, I forgot my goals. I forgot like my dreams and my aspirations and things I wanted to do in my career and all these things because I was just living their life. And it's very irresponsible. However, I was 19, 20, like, bear with me. And I'm happy that I learned that sooner rather than later in life. So it's like, what makes me me? I don't know. I don't know. And I literally had to build from the ground up. And I'm gonna be honest, you know, getting over that relationship for me took over a year, took like a year and a half, probably even 2 years. It was not easy for me. And I want to say getting over somebody is so, like, I feel like people don't understand that. Unless if you've been in a very committed relationship, you will not understand what I mean by this. But it's almost like you're mourning a person that's still alive, right? You're mourning your past. You're mourning everything you've ever known. That part of me, you know, I can't go back to that. It ceased to exist, right? And trying to get over that is so difficult. It's so difficult. I will never forget. My friend at the time told me, she was like, because I truly believed, I was like, okay, when I get closure from him, like, I'm gonna be fine. Like, because I didn't have closure. To this day, I don't have any closure. What people view as closure, like this end all conversation, this question answer type of vibe, like, I didn't get any of that. To this day, I didn't get any of that. If someone asked me, I can only say what I'm guessing and I'm assuming, but I did not get closure. And at the time, I remember I was so greedy for this closure. I was like, oh, like, once I get closure, like, I'm gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be answered. Everything, like, I'm gonna be able to move on. It's gonna be good. Like, I'm not gonna stay up late at night. I was literally talking like this to myself. Like, I was pacing back and forth in my room, losing my mind, just wanting this closure so bad. And I will never forget, my friend had told me, she was like, closure isn't real. And I was like, what do you mean closure isn't real? She was like, it's not real. She's like, you don't need it. It doesn't, like, it's not real. And I remember at the time I was so defensive, and I was like in my mind, I was like, yeah, there's no way. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, I was so adamant that I just, once I got closure, I was gonna be fine. And then when I realized and I accepted my reality that this person is not going to give me closure, I really had to sit with myself and do so much inner work. And I woke up one day and I realized, I was like, closure isn't real. She was right. Closure isn't real. You not giving me closure was closure. The fact that you could not respect me enough after you spent so many years with me and you expected me to be your wife and to have your children, and you couldn't give me closure, you couldn't answer my questions, you couldn't have this adult conversation with me and give me that closure, you couldn't pay me that much respect, that was my closure. There was nothing else that needed to be said. Your actions spoke louder than words. No matter what you said, that was the closure I needed. So, like, what I viewed as closure, that's not real. So if you're in that position in your life and you think you need closure, babe, I'm here to tell you that is not real. Okay, you do not need closure, and no one's gonna come and give you closure, and no one owes you closure. I could say as much as I want, oh, he owed me it, like, and maybe theoretically maybe he did, but the way I view the world now, I just feel like it's so much easier to accept the fact that people don't owe you anything, no matter how long you've spent time with them, no matter what you've done with them. If someone wants to go out and do something that doesn't align with your morals or your integrity, or they don't respect you, that's all you need. There's nothing, what is there to be said? What do we need to talk about now? You acted the way you wanted to act and you did what you wanted to do. That's it. Like, there's nothing else to it. And I think for me, I've just been through so much when it comes to people coming in and out of my life. And the big reason why I kept going back to him is because it almost was like the only person in my life other than my family that was consistent, right? And when someone feels like, I'm like, you know what? Maybe he treated me like shit, but he was there. He was there. You weren't there, you know? So it's like, you accept the bare minimum just because there's no one else there. He was all I had. I think that's a big reason why it hurt me so bad. And I literally feel bad and sad for my younger self, because I'm like, imagine being 19 and going through that. And I'm so proud of myself because I never bashed him. You know, I never publicly said to people in my personal life, in our community, and like all these people who were so invested in this relationship, I never said he did this to me and he did that to me and all this stuff. Now, had that happened to me when I was like 16, yeah, I would have aired everything out and like in there. Like, I would not have cared, right? But, you know, I didn't act out of pettiness, or I didn't act out of character. I truly was so hurt that all I could do was just like be alone. All I could do was sit with myself. And I took so much time to fall in love with myself. I was in love with other people, right? I was in love with this person for so long. And so starting over and trying to fall in love with myself again, it was literally like I was dating myself, right? And it was so fun. It took so long that I can't imagine letting someone into my life anytime soon and taking this gamble, because it is a gamble. It could either be the best thing that happens to you or your life's biggest heartbreak. You never know. It's a toss-up, right? And I just feel like I'm not in the position to let someone in and risk that, you know, like risk them breaking me again. And, you know, when I look in the mirror, I love who I am, you know? I don't have a man telling me, girl, if I tell you all my insecurities, and that's another thing, you know what? I don't want to go into it too deep. I don't, you know, whatever. We've moved on. But all of my insecurities in life have been because of a man. And maybe that means that I have chosen the wrong men. And I accept that. I don't have the best track record, obviously. But I was so insecure about so many things physically and like, you know, socially. Like, oh, how do I talk to people? How does my personality come across? Like all these things that like I understand how long it took me to come back from that. And it is very scary to put yourself in that vulnerable position again. When you already saw the result of it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, I'm like, we need to take a break, you know? And if it's gonna be longer than 3 years, then I'm good. Okay? I don't feel bad saying that. I'm so happy being single. It's actually crazy. But like if we're talking about it on a deeper level, I just feel so at peace and I feel so stress-free and I don't have nobody's son chirping in my ear. I'm good. You know, I'm having so much fun living life, learning life lessons, chasing my dreams, my goals, learning even more things about myself, going to dinner with girlfriends and making new friends. You guys have been making new friends. Like I'm having so much fun. I might even go to dinner with my friend tomorrow. And I think about it, I'm like, I was so stressed out when I was in a relationship. It's actually a joke. I'm like, girl, like how many nights did you lose sleep? And of course, I want to preface by saying that means I was with the wrong man. I was not with the right person. But sometimes I do fear men, which is valid. There's something every day. And another thing I will say, being single for so long, I have a lot of like questions about like the people who are in relationships. And it just makes me question relationships and love and modern love a lot. Like I always ask myself whether or not I believe in love. Like, is love real? Well, I love myself. I love my family. I have also loved someone while being in a relationship in a romantic way. And since I love people, that means it must be real, right? Love must be real. However, now I personally love the old-timey romance and love, and you saw a girl like out somewhere in the world and you approached her, you were just charming, and then you asked for her number, like all these things. That is how I view love and romance, not an Instagram DM. Stop DMing me, by the way. I'm never going to respond to the men. Women, I love you guys, love my girlies, but the men, stop DMing me. Even people from my personal life, don't DM me. You gotta catch me out in public, and if you don't have to meet me out in person, then you're not the man for me. Simple as that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it also makes such, and this is like a small part of it. I don't want to make it seem like this is like the whole reason why. But I think it's so fun and cutesy to like have a cute, adorable, organic love story that just happened out in the world. Whether if it was like, it could be mutual stuff too, you know? It doesn't just have to be like this stranger, but I just like that type of approach. I don't like I said, Instagram DMs. I don't even have Snapchat anymore, but let's say that. Like, I don't know, whatever the social media stuff is, like dating apps and all that stuff, that is not me. I don't like that. However, I feel like all guys and all men take that approach now. I feel like I rarely see a guy go up to a girl and be like that he doesn't know and just like charm her. If those type of men don't exist, right? And men don't do that anymore. And I don't get that type of story. Am I okay with being alone? Am I okay with being single? And the answer is yes. 1000% yes. And obviously, like I said, in my experience, love has always been so stressful and so chaotic and so difficult. And it makes me question, I'm like, why can't love be easy? Why is it so difficult to be in a relationship and to love somebody? Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't it be easy? People have always told me, oh, like the key to a relationship is forgiveness and communication, right? Or I saw this TikTok video. I don't know what it was about, but the entire comment section, when I was like reading through it, was people saying how long their relationship was for, like how long it lasted, and then being like, oh, the key to a successful relationship is forgiveness. Ladies, what, and even men, what are y'all doing in these relationships that require so much forgiveness? Like, what are we forgiving? Like, what is happening? Why do I have to keep forgiving you? What are you doing that like, the biggest thing in a relationship is forgiveness? How much are we forgiving? What are these partners doing? I'm just not understanding that. And that just blows my mind that this is people's, like, their number one advice that they could give you. Not even communication. Everyone said forgiveness. And there are like older women in these comments. And I was like, oh my God, they're like, oh, we've been married for X amount of years and the key is forgiveness. Trust me, it's forgiveness. And I'm like, I need an example. Like, please tell me what your husband has been doing that requires you to keep forgiving him, you know? Like, and I don't know, y'all. Like, I feel like I've seen it all in my day as a 23-year-old. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can forgive that much. Like, and the thing is, I feel like I'm always attracted to a man's, of course, like physical attraction is different, but I am attracted to a man's mind. So when you do something, like his mind and his character. So if a man does something that I'm just like I will literally just be like, you're not cute to me anymore. Like, you did something or you said something that I'm like, it makes me question who you are as a person. And I'm just like, you're not attractive to me anymore. Like, I'm not attracted to you because you did that. And the reason why I was attracted to you is because I thought you would never do that. Like, those things didn't align with your character or what I saw in your character. Does that make sense? So when they act out of line, I'm like, you're not attractive to me anymore and I can't forgive you, you know, because I can't see past this. Like, I can't put on this act anymore of being like, oh, he just happened to sleep with somebody else. Like, you know, it's fine. Like, it was just an accident. How you just slip and fall? Like, what? Oh my goodness. And another thing, okay, let's say women are saying forgiveness and then they're like, oh, but no. Like, I'm talking about the small daily things, you know, not the big things. Let's say that, right? They're about small things like, oh, you drank my Coke, right? I personally don't like arguing. I don't like sitting there and arguing with somebody ever. And I've never liked that ever. I've just been forced into it sometimes because you just get frustrated and you just have to meet them at their level sometimes. But I don't like arguing because it just takes too much energy and you just kill my whole vibe. I also just feel like some things are just not that serious. And if it is that serious and you've hurt me, then I've already made up my mind about what I want to do. There's nothing, we're not going back and forth about this. If you cheated on me, I'm done. Like, I'm out of there. Like, there's no you convincing me and me having to like get all these details out of you. You did what you did. Stand on it. It's done. I already made my decision. We're not arguing. It's done. And then if it's something small like you drank my Coke, I'm not arguing with you about that. I might be upset. I might tell you, hey, like, you know, the next time you go out, could you possibly get a Coke? Or, oh, if it's the last Coke left, do you mind leaving it for me because I really want the Coke? Boom. Now, if I'm with a man who's going to take that into an argument, you're not the man for me. I have also been in a very long relationship. I've been with someone through highs and lows and sideways and upside down and everything. Okay, I've been through it all. I've seen it all. My biggest takeaway, like, I've never stood on the forgiveness. Like, every time I look back at it after the fact, I'm like, why did I forgive you for that? Like, I should not have forgiven you for that. So maybe that's also another thing. Like, I just can't see past the hurt to forgive you and then look you in the eye the next day. And that's just me from my experience. And also, I want to say for people who are married, I obviously have never been married. We gonna check back if I do or when I do get married, and then we could talk about this stuff again and see if I still stand on what I'm about to say. My thing is the only reason why you are forgiving this person because you have signed a legal binding contract with this human being. Now, let's say that's just your boyfriend and he did that to you. Would you have forgave him or would you have got up and left and easily, you know, there's nothing else involved. It's just a simple breakup and you're done. If that was the case, would you get up and leave? Is the only reason why you're not getting up and leaving because there is a legal binding contract and it seems like a hassle and it almost seems like you have to have a big enough reason to leave this person because you've made such a commitment, right? So it's almost like you let so many things slide because you're like, oh, but I'm married to them. Like, you almost feel like you have to have this big reason to to leave them. But let's say there's a couple that has been married, and let's say the husband is flirting with another girl at the bar. I don't know about y'all, but to me, that's cheating. What are you flirting with another human being for? I don't understand that, because what flirting leads to other things. Flirting to me is I flirt with intention. So what intention are you flirting with or flirting for? I don't understand that. So if you're married to somebody and he does that versus if he's just your boyfriend and he does that, would your reaction to that action be different? For me personally, both times I'm getting up and leaving, and I'm no longer your wife and I'm no longer your girlfriend, because it almost feels like a trial run for him wanting to do what he wants to do. Like he's testing you to see like, oh, is she gonna react too much about this and you're gonna do it in front of my face? Bye. Does that make sense? I really hope that makes sense. To me it makes sense. For example, my dad told me, and he's told me this so many times since I was younger, right? He was like, as soon as I say something to your mom, she owns my words, meaning she can use them against me because I did say that to her no matter how long ago it was. And he always says, he's like, you know what, after you say something to anybody, they own your words. They can use them against you because yes, you did say that to them. And when you really think about how heavy your words can be for your partner, it really makes you reevaluate yourself and think about what you're going to say before you say it to your partner. And why do we say hateful and hurtful things to our partner? Number one, we're comfortable with them. When you're comfortable with people, you let your guard down and you let your true colors show and you talk reckless to them, whether that's family, friends, relationships, whatever it is, right? So you feel comfortable. Number two, you know the reaction you're gonna get. Most of the time, we say hateful and hurtful things to our partner because we know it's gonna get their attention. We know we got them, right? Like, especially if you're trying to make a point and they're not listening to you, or you feel like they're not listening to you, you know once you say something hurtful, boom, they're right there with you, right? So you got their attention. But is that the type of attention you want? And if you really love someone and you care for them, why would you want to say hurtful and hateful things to them just to get their attention? I feel like there's so many other ways to, get someone to be present with you other than just saying hateful, hurtful things. And once you've said those things, they own your words. They can come back no matter, even if they forgive you, they can come back later on and be like, oh, but you said this to me. They can come back and say that because you did say that. You did say that to them and you said it with your whole chest. We know the body language we use and the tone we use because that's the only way it's going to make its mark, right? We want to make our mark. I have really tried and made the conscious effort to break generational cycles of the way my people, and by my people I mean Indian people, right? The way my people view love. Now, I have not had an example of this like super loving romantic relationship and couple and what it means to be like married to someone that you fell in love with when you were like this whole vibe of like even the way a married couple is supposed to interact with each other in the household or in public and all these things. I have never experienced that. And I know a lot, if not most, if not all, Indian kids have experienced that. And it's so hard to break that cycle when you don't know any better. And the fact that I haven't seen that is also very normal. Like all these kids, all my friends, of course, over time, when you've been with someone for so long, you do grow to love them. But it's not the same love that we view in America or in the Western world, or you know what I mean? Like the modern view of love is just not the norm for my people. And it's so unfortunate and so sad. But trying to learn something that you're not used to is like learning a new language, literally. And especially because me and my parents talk about this all the time, right? Both of my parents grew up in India. PDA is very taboo. Like PDA doesn't exist in India. Like just like openly loving your wife and moving her a certain way, interacting with each other in a certain way, kissing, hugging, holding each other's hand. Like this is not a concept. This is not a thing. You never see this. People don't do this. If you do this, first of all, no one does. But if you were to do it, you would have everybody's eye in town, okay? And not in a good way. So it is very, very taboo. And of course, that has carried over into America with all of our parents that immigrated here. It's also carried over with the children where it's like, oh, you're getting married and this is your husband now, but at your wedding, you can't kiss your husband. Hello? But it just feels so awkward. No matter how progressive it gets, it almost just feels like you just can't unsee that or unlearn that awkwardness that like, this is not good. Like we cannot do this, And it's like, girl, like, it's like, I live with my man. And what you mean I can't hold his hand or something, Like I remember having these conversations with my friends. People just being like, oh, like, yeah, like my parents sleep in different rooms. It's like learning from like movies or learning from pop culture or something, you know? And it's like the worst way to learn about it. But it's like, what else do you have? Like, who is going to teach you? You don't have this example in life that you just grew up with, you know? You have to learn these things, which is why I think a lot of us end up in relationships that we should not be in, and with people who we are not compatible with. Like, I guess he'll work, you know? And it's just so unfortunate, and it's not fun. I don't know, like, where's the fun? Where's the romance, you know? And then also, you learn very quickly at a young age what it means to like a boy and for a boy to like you, and like what actions indicate that you're more than friends, now you're in a relationship. Like, our parents don't teach us this. We literally have to learn this just out in the world, and that is so scary, especially when you're so young, you know? You're so vulnerable and you're so gullible that, like, it's very easy for people to mistreat you and misuse you. And I have heard so many horror stories, and I'm just like, this is not safe for our children. And it's very scary because this isn't a thing that happens. You don't talk to your parents about this stuff. Like, oh my goodness. Your parents would literally look at you and be like, oh my God, we need to take you to the Mandir. Like, something's wrong with my child. So what do you do? When you can't ask any parental figure or anybody, right? What do? You ask your friends. At that point, that's just the blind leading the blind. Like, we both don't know. Like, we're like, oh my gosh, should we watch this music video and just see what they're doing in the music video? And like, we just gonna do what they do there. But it really is just the blind leading the blind. I'm like, oh girl, if you say so, like, I guess that's what we gonna do. Like, I don't know. So being the generation that is trying to relearn love, coming from that type of background, and then you add your own life experiences with love on top of that, girl. Now you see why I'm not into it. I'm like, you know, I'd rather be alone. This is too much. Like, this is overstimulating on a whole other level. This is a lot to unpack. Now, if we're gonna talk about love languages, being an Indian girl with one of my love, I feel like you can have multiple love languages. So one of my love languages is physical touch, right? And people, every time I say that, people are like, oh, what? Like, I would not expect that. I'm like, yeah, girl, because someone sucked the physical touch love language right out of me. Okay. With lots of trauma that we're not gonna get into. However, you can imagine, right, with PDA being so taboo in my community, and then being a girl who loves PDA, I honestly, I was with someone who didn't like PDA, so I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't like PDA, like, ugh. Like I said, right, I would turn myself into that person, so I'd be like, oh my God, I don't like PDA, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, but it'd be really nice to like sit on someone's lap, or like someone hold my hand, like while we're walking, and like kiss the back of my hand. Like, I love physical touch. It's not everything to me, and it's not my end all be all. Trust me, just because someone gives me physical touch does not mean that like I immediately think that they're in love with me or something, and it does not make up for other stuff. It is very important to me, and since I've realized that these past 3 years, I was so deprived of physical touch in public. And in public is very important, just because it's very easy for someone to be someone different when you're in private, right? But when you're in public, the way they treat you also indicates like how they want other people to view you as their woman. Does that make sense? Like, if you are out in public with a man and he doesn't introduce you as his girl, and you are his girl, especially in private, he treats you like you're his girl, he talks to you like you're his girl, and he labels you as his girl, but in public he cannot show that. And I'm not saying public like on social media and stuff, that's different. I'm talking about public as in like our personal lives in public, our friends, our family, all these things. I really want to preface, it's not like, I'm not talking about in front of cameras and stuff. I'm talking about a normal person in their day-to-day life, in front of your friends, your friend group. Like, I remember in the moment feeling so sad, like immediately sad, because imagine you're like at one of these events or like these parties or whatever, and your boyfriend is holding your hand, and then someone comes by and he just like throws your hand, like literally throws your hand, and he's like, oh, and then he like turns away, or he tells you like, oh, like go walk over there, or he walks away from you, right, when people come around, or he texts you from afar being like, don't come here, like my family's coming here, and he was so fearful of his family, which is like a whole other thing. But like all these things that are just like so like it's like you're hiding your relationship, and it's like everybody already knows, like why can't you just hold my hand, you know? And it's so sad. And I remember like he would throw my hand, and I would just be like my heart would break, like I would just be like I felt like I was just being tossed away, you know, or hidden, and I'm just like, oh, like why can't you just love me boldly and proudly and loudly? Like I just hated that so much. And it's actually crazy, I have only ever been like, out of the Indian men, right, I've only been with one of them who's actually given me physical touch in front of anybody. Like, he did not care. Like, he would almost purposefully put me and like sit me on his knee, like on his lap, when people would come around. And it just made me feel so good and made me feel like he's proud that I'm his girlfriend. Like, he likes that I'm his girl, or like he doesn't care. Like, he wants people to know, oh yeah, like this is my girl, you know? And I love that. Like, that just feels so alpha to me, because it's like, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. Like, no one can influence you, you know? And I love that so much. Like, actually, I love that so much. Now that I think about it, I'm like, that just felt so good compared to like what I had experienced. Girl, that was like crazy. He's the only Indian guy that has ever done that. At least for me, I could speak for myself. I always felt like, is something wrong with me? Like, I want my boyfriend to hold my hand in public. Like, is something wrong with me? Like I literally felt like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm like fiending for this. Like, is something wrong? I literally thought something was wrong with me for wanting my boyfriend to hold my hand, you know, because no one else wanted, or it didn't seem like anybody else wanted their boyfriend or their girlfriend to hold their hand that much. And I was like the only one that, and it was like Arushi, why does that bother you? You know, like, I always got that type of reaction. Like, it's not a big deal. You know, they always say that. And can you guys believe I was in a relationship with someone for 7 years of my life, and people in his life didn't even know that he had a girlfriend? People didn't even know that he had a girlfriend, let alone them knowing that I'm his girlfriend. People were like, what? Like, he has a girlfriend? Well, and he was older than me, so he was in college and I was in high school. But like, then I was like, if you're not introducing the fact that you actually have a girlfriend, even if she's not standing there, the fact that you're not telling people that you have a girlfriend, I'm like, what were you up to? What were you doing? Why has this not came up in conversation? Because I felt like I was telling everybody, oh yeah, I got a college boyfriend. I got a boyfriend in college. Come to find out, God knows what that man was doing. That boy, who knows what he was doing? And I know this might sound very harsh, but in my experience, love has always came into my life and taken something away from me. I have never gained something other than, I guess, wisdom. But even at that, I'm like, what was the cost? Everything I lost for that wisdom is just like, I'm like, I don't think this was a even transaction. I don't think I came out of this winning at all. And maybe it's because at the time I also viewed relationships very, very differently. Like I said before, in so many videos, I would never block my blessings. If God sends my dream man and the perfect man for me, even if he doesn't meet my list, if he is the man that I need in my life and God sends him my way, I will 1000% be so grateful and so happy and love my relationship and everything. But until that happens, I am so happy with my life. I'm so happy being single. I'm so happy discovering different parts of myself and different things about myself and learning myself again, because I spent so much of my life not doing that, and I feel like I gotta make up for it. And I know some people might be like, oh, you're running from it, you know, you're running from love. Like, just because one person did this to you doesn't mean, or like however many people did this to you, doesn't mean it's gonna happen again. And like, you're never gonna know unless if you take the risk and do it, right? Which I also understand. I get it. However, I am not running from love. I'm not running away from a potential relationship. There's just so much more to me and to what makes me me than who I'm dating at the moment, or who I'm in a relationship, or whether or not I'm in a relationship. Like, there's just so much more to my identity now, and I just don't think that needs to be the number one priority. Like, there's just so much more to life than getting married or being in a relationship or whatever it is. Like, there's just so much more life to live in so many different ways. And unless if I cross paths with someone, wow, that was a tongue twister. Unless if I cross paths with someone who adds to my life, just makes my life better, until then, I'm good on my own. And I am so happy to say that. I'm so happy. Like, I'm truly so happy, and I haven't been this happy with being single ever in my life. I always feared being single because it left like this empty hole of like, what if I don't find someone? Trust me, you will never regret putting yourself and your happiness first. Please prioritize what you want in your life. Focus on yourself. Everything else will fall into place whenever it needs to, however it needs to. And if something doesn't fall into place, then it wasn't meant for you, and that's okay. Honestly, all I have left to say is I just love being single. Like, I've had so much fun these past 3 years, and I feel like I'm just getting started with my life, and that's a really great feeling to have, because I just know there's just so much more ahead for me in life, and I'm really excited. But yeah, this was my first videos of me just sitting here talking to you guys. Right now it is 12:35 at night. You guys can't even tell. And I love you guys. Bye, y'all.